hope that you are well. Welcome to my channel and to this video, which is all about the Major Arcana card, the Hierophant. Now, it has been a long time coming, so I apologise if you have been waiting for this video, but let's get straight to it. I'm actually going to be looking at this card in a slightly different way than I usually would. I'm going to consider it from two different perspectives: an older, what we'll call a more traditional reading, and then an up-to-date contemporary reading. This is because a traditional reading may not resonate with a lot of people, and actually considering how the interpretation of this card has evolved and changed over the years, the more modern interpretation means that it's actually become one of my favourite cards. Let's start with the more traditional interpretation of this card then. So like the Emperor, the Hierophant is seen as a figure of power and authority. However, it is more of a spiritual authority. Traditionally, the Hierophant has been portrayed as a religious leader, someone who is dedicated to religion, oftentimes the Pope. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck then, the Hierophant is portrayed sitting on a throne, wearing robes, an ornate crown and holding a sceptre. There are people standing in front of this throne, looking up at the figure as though they are looking to him for guidance and wisdom. In a reading then, and again this is a traditional reading, the Hierophant shows a choice to live and to abide by particular beliefs that are shared by a religion. The card is advising you to pay attention to your spiritual path and to follow the rules and the teachings of that particular group or religion that you follow. In today's world then, a religion-focused interpretation doesn't necessarily resonate with everyone. I prefer to see the Hierophant as a teacher. This idea is reflected in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, as at the bottom it features two crossed keys. They symbolise a teacher, someone who holds the key to knowledge. They represent intellect and intuition. And this idea is something that has followed the card as it has changed and evolved over time. So today the Hierophant can be seen as a leader, a teacher or a mentor. Again, usually in a spiritual capacity, but it doesn't have to be. It can be someone, something, or even some place where you can gain guidance. For me as well, I believe that it doesn't actually have to be someone that we know personally. For example, I consider my mentors to be the authors of the books that I read. It is important to remember as well though that our mentors are human. We may not agree with everything that they say, and it is important to question them. Usually when the Hierophant appears for me, it's indicating that a group or a community is needed for my further growth and for me to seek guidance. So books and solitary study can only get us so far. It may be that you need to join a group, a coven or a therapy group, anything really that allows you to share your experiences with others. So far we've discussed the idea then of the Hierophant representing us as the student in search of a mentor. Alternatively, it could be that you are the mentor. In that case, the card is advising you to remain selfless and not allow your ego to get the better of you. In a lot of cases, the student can outgrow the mentor and even achieve greater success. And this could cause someone to become jealous or to impede that student's progress in some way. So the Hierophant is a warning of the challenges of balancing the ego and avoiding that corruption. If you like to consider reversed interpretations in your reading then, whereas upright, the Hierophant is about tradition and following the rules and beliefs of a group, then reversed, it is about breaking away from that tradition and those rules. It could be that the tradition, whether it be religious or otherwise, is no longer resonating with you. It indicates that you should explore a new belief structure, one that suits you better. It's almost like your faith is being tested. Again, thinking about a more up-to-date interpretation, it could be that a job or relationship, a friendship, or a teacher is no longer supporting you and the values that you have, and that you need to break away from that situation. Let's have a look at some other depictions of the Hierophant then and see how some more contemporary tarot decks have portrayed this card. In the Wild Unknown deck then, by Kim Kranz, we have a crow or a raven. I think it's more likely to be a raven due to the raven's links and symbolism of wisdom, but do let me know if you think otherwise. The bird is standing on a key, which is very similar imagery to what we were seeing in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and it shows what we were saying earlier of this idea of seeking knowledge. Has definitely followed the card through. As a modern deck, it symbolises a mentor or a teacher in either practical or spiritual areas. And in the guidebook, Kim Kranz advises on joining a class or a workshop and opening yourself up to and welcoming a teacher. Looking next then at the 5 cent tarot deck, the Hierophant is depicted as a praying mantis, which does have connotations that link back to that sort of traditional religious interpretation. We can also see other links to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck with the sceptre on there, the crown or the hat, which looks like something that the Pope would wear. There is the congregation at the bottom. Here it's represented by the Beatles, and there are also the crossed keys as well that's on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So the creator of this deck has actually taken a slightly different view of this card. They've offered the mantis as a symbol of stillness and recommends calming the mind, going inwards and meditating so that that wisdom and that knowledge can be whispered to us. I do also want to look at another card from a different deck in this video. If you have watched some of my other videos, then you may have seen me do an unboxing of the Antique Anatomy Tarot. So this is the card that I want to include. The theme of the deck then is obviously anatomy and skeletons and bones, all feature quite heavily in this deck. So here we have one long bone crossed by those 3 smaller bones. And so the religious iconography is quite clear here, and the creator of this deck has actually chosen to explore the Hierophant as organised religion, so linking back to that traditional interpretation. However, as well as representing a spokesperson for the divine, it's also advising you to search outside of yourself, to ask for help and guidance from a religious leader, a friend, a family member, or a teacher. Lastly then, there are obviously a lot of keywords that we would associate with the Hierophant: spiritual authority, tradition, a gatekeeper, religion, study, a mentor, a teacher, community, and most importantly, seeking knowledge. I feel like we've covered a lot for this card and relatively quickly, so I hope you did find it useful. If you have any questions or anything that you want to add, then please do leave a note in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video. The cat keeps knocking things off the windowsill and it's getting on my nerves.